Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I am Nisha Charles. Coming up, government awards $4 million in project contracts. Government promises to focus on youth as a catalyst for development, and the Division of Culture's Summer Arts Program comes to a close. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
A lot of bathtubs are blamed for bruises. Some staircases are accused of being responsible for broken bones. Doors are occasionally viewed suspiciously as causing lesions. A high percentage of tables are accused of producing bleeding or trauma. Violence against women is a crime, and it's everyone's responsibility. It's inexcusable. If you're a victim or witness of physical or psychological violence or abuse, seek help and denounce the perpetrator.
Thanks for staying with us. 5 contracts for communities and 5 projects totaling $4 million will mean infrastructural development all over the island within the next few weeks. The Ministry of Public Works recently announced the awarding of these contracts. Government's press attaché Darrell Titt gives further details.
The first contract awarded by the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports is to Jones Saintville, and that is in the Dalis area, and that is for the construction of a temporary crossing across the White River. That is important because the White River Bridge is going to be rehabilitated by government. That contract is to the sum of $100,352.97. The second contract is awarded to Nelson Joseph. It is in the amount of $123,650.30, and that is for the drainage works and road edge reinstatement at Monbruce. Offshore Civil and Marine Inc. has been awarded a contract for $1,399,997.97, and that is to undertake some works in Champagne Point Michel. These works will include the construction of a retaining wall, minor excavation works on the cliff, rock revetment of the retaining wall, drainage works on the existing ravine, and the excavation works on the cliff is to go towards the backfilling of the retaining wall.
The White River project is already in full swing, and the promised transformation of the town of Portsmouth to attract new investment, as announced by the nation's finance minister, Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, is also underway.
In Portsmouth, there are 2 major projects to be undertaken. That is in the Harbour Lane and Rodney Street areas, and also in Lagor, that is from Portsmouth to Purple Turtle. The first contract is awarded to Dipcon Engineering Services for the total of $1,523,108.19, and that is to undertake road resurfacing works and associated sea defense protection on the Lagor Road from Portsmouth to Purple Turtle. And the Public Works Corporation is awarded the contract for surfacing works in Harbour Lane and Rodney Street, and that is a total of $911,659.05.
A mere few weeks ago, the Prime Minister promised that the second town will undergo a total transformation, and days later action can be seen. This is another of a myriad of promises made by the Roosevelt Skerrit government being fulfilled. The Honorable Minister for Tourism, Ian Douglas, is optimistic about plans to improve the tourism product in Dominica. The minister announced that while maintaining the existing tourism attractions, the Labour administration is planning to add several new initiatives to improve visitors' experience on the island. Some of these initiatives are due to begin shortly, while others, he says, will come on stream in government's new term in office. These include works on the Roseau River Promenade, which will soon begin, improvement on the Botanic Gardens, and others mentioned during his recent address to Parliament.
We have a number of new initiatives that we want to concentrate on in the new term of office. I'm not even talking about the new year. I'm talking about the new term of office, Madam Speaker. Like I spoke about the Roseau River Promenade, a cruise village, in Donkey Beach, Madam Speaker, we want to do a new cruise village, and I know that the Minister for Works have spoken about it, and it came in his constituency, and we will be doing that. The Botanic Gardens, Madam Speaker, we want to enhance the Botanic Gardens and make it a true Botanic Gardens with a lot of more exotic species of flowers and plants and flora, and make it more exciting, and even Botanic Gardens Monbruce in and of itself is a tour, and we want to make that more exciting, Madam Speaker, for our visitors. The Geneva Heritage Center, we want to continue to work with the guys at Geneva and at Grand Bay to ensure that they continue to develop that product.
The minister also shed light on recent works undertaken to improve various sites on the island.
Our present products here, we have been spending millions. So we have been spending in Meru. We are working with the PALREP to continue to enhance Meru. We have invested in Layu, and we are not finished with Layu yet. We still have more work to do on the Layu River. We have the boardwalk to do in Layu, and we have a number of other areas. We have sites in Portsmouth at the Purple Turtle. Madam Speaker, we continue to maintain our facilities down there at the Indian River. We continue to, so while we generate new aspects of the tourism product, Madam Speaker, we continue to maintain the existing products to ensure that our product continues to be exciting and appealing to our persons. At the Emerald Pool, we just put in a new water system at the Emerald Pool for $300,000. We had to do that because visitor experience is important. At Tito Gorge, Madam Speaker, we just did a new tourist reception facility at Tito Gorge.
Minister Douglas further noted that the road to Tito Gorge will soon be constructed. There are also plans to continue improving visitor experience in the Kalinago territory. In more tourism news, President of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, Gregor Nassif, is pleased with the work being done by government in the hotel and tourism sector. Nassif remarked that one of those initiatives is government's geothermal energy project, which will result in lower energy costs for the industry.
Lower energy costs is something that is very, very positive. Yeah. So we, as an association, are fully supportive of the government's initiative.
The DHTA is also very pleased with the government's decision to repeal the VAT on service charges.
We were very pleased to hear the news that VAT is being repealed. It's official that as of September 1st, VAT will no longer be applied to service charge.
The DHTA president also noted that the organization is looking forward to the proposed plan for the total rehabilitation of the fiscal incentives regime as mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit in his 2014-2015 budget address to Parliament.
We are very pleased that the Prime Minister announced in the budget a complete modernization of the fiscal incentives regime. Right? This was mentioned in the budget of 2013. It was just mentioned again in the budget of 2014. And for the DHTA, nothing can stimulate new investment in Dominica as much as getting that fixed. We have significant barriers to entry, and it's not just the cost of the taxes, but it's also the opportunities for new forms of investment.
In his 2014-2015 budget address, the Prime Minister noted that government will appoint a working group to review the various fiscal incentives regimes offered to the private sector. This review will determine the relevance of the existing tax concessions and the application of these concessions to new and emerging forms of investment models. In more news, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Alvin Bernard, says Dominica has reaped significant benefits from diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China in all facets of development. Addressing the Chinese Scholarship Presentation ceremony last Friday, the Honorable Minister noted that the Chinese government has supported Dominica in the quest for economic growth. Senator Bernard says that this support is being manifested at both global and domestic levels.
At the global level, the government of China and the government of Dominica cooperate on a number of areas of mutual interest. Among those, but not limited to, UN or United Nations reform, climate change, and regional cooperation. At the domestic level, we have seen assistance from the People's Republic of China in infrastructure, budgetary support, national security, public sector management, health, sports and culture, agriculture, education, and human resource development. These interventions, these activities essentially are in support of the government's growth and social protections.
According to Honorable Bernard, government's growth and protection strategy is a policy that represents government's belief that resources must be placed at a foundation of the pyramid and not simply into one sector or particular area with the hope of development. He regarded China's support as planting seeds of development, having assisted Dominica in executing that strategy.
We believe that with the help of friends like China, we have so far, and we continue to sow the seeds of development. We believe that you cannot grow anything that you have not planted. And therefore, we believe that we are planting the seeds of development, and we continue to nurture those seeds.
In light of the newly selected scholars, the Minister of State noted that it is important that youth contribute to national development.
You have to consider yourselves today as some of those seeds that have been sown. When you plant a seed, the seed sprouts and grows into a mature plant. And ultimately, in turn, that plant produces more seeds. So I admonish you to go out there and sow those seeds. As Mrs. Hyacinth just mentioned, we expect you to come back and make your rightful contribution to Dominica and lend your support to the various initiatives that we have taken in Dominica to build our economy and to build our country.
In other news, Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, the Honorable Kelva Daru, has pledged to provide his support to constituents who are in search of education advancement. He gave this commitment earlier this week during a presentation of back-to-school supplies.
I believe education is important, and as a community, we have to do all within our power to ensure that every child who is of school age is at a learning institution. And come September, as a power rep, I will also provide assistance to the students who will be attending the Dominica State College from my constituency. The students will be attending the Business Training Center. They too will be receiving assistance. And I'm asking all of the students who are willing to go back to school, to do their subjects over, those who have challenges, come to the office of the power rep, and I will ensure that you are taken care of and we will meet all of the needs that you require, whether you need books, whether you need school bags, whether you need school shoes, whether you need assistance for transportation. We will provide this for you. And this is a commitment that I'm making towards the entire constituency and every child who is willing to go back to school and every child who is at school. We will ensure that we provide these facilities for you.
The MP for St. Joseph noted that the donation of school supplies this week has sought to address the concerns of students going back to school.
So we are making provisions for them, complete stationery, so that the students now have nothing else to do but to go to school and learn. So we have taken away the stress of them having to think of having a bag to go back to school in September.
In other news, after 2 weeks of exploring their talents through arts and culture, 40 youth received certificates of participation from the Division of Culture at the Old Mill Cultural Center on Friday, 22nd August. This presentation ceremony marks the close of the division's summer arts program, where young participants were introduced to 7 art forms: art and craft, creative dance, drama, drumming and percussion, recorder, steel pan and wood carving. Addressing the ceremony, Acting Chief Cultural Officer Jacinta David said education in the arts plays an important role in developing the country's human resource, and she called on parents to continue to support their children on that path.
Parents, please continue to encourage your children in all of their endeavor. We must always remember that the arts and culture are a wonderful form of education. At courses such as these, participants discover and in some cases rediscover their innate skills and the talents. And these training programs help us nurture and develop a new generation of artists. To our participants, please do not stop producing work now. Now that the summer arts program is over, you need to continue to produce more as you did during the 2-week summer program to build your capacity in the field or fields that you have chosen.
Participants were divided into 2 age groups from 7 to 10 and 11 to 17. Here's some of what they had to offer. Senior Administrative Officer in the Ministry of Culture, Chandler Hyacinth, presented the certificates to the students on behalf of the Honorable Minister, Justina Charles. Tutors Heather Toulon, Aaron Hamilton, Hegana Doraval, Ashworth Simon, Delmans Moses, Jody Johnson, David Winston, Louisa Desir, and Orlando Coffey, and workshop assistants Yena Eugene and Jarrell Joseph also received certificates. In related news, when the national leader addressed the House of Parliament on July 23rd to present the 2014-2015 national budget, he listed youth as a means of expanding Dominica's economy. Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt stated that young people are often overlooked as catalysts for national development. According to the budget statement, quote, young people, by virtue of their numbers, their energy, their better education, their idealism, and their desire to prove their independence, are definitely one of the most valuable resources at our disposal. History shows that young people have always played a vital role in making the transition from one era to the next, end of quote. He highlighted that the current era driven by new technology belongs to young people. This is why the Honorable Skerritt says government will continue to work closely with stakeholders who are invested in youth development in order to empower them to lead the movement for economic emancipation. He listed the stakeholders as the Youth Development Division, the Dominica National Youth Council, the Dominica State College, the National Employment Program, the National Development Foundation, the Small Business Unit, the private sector, and others. Government has therefore promised a major reformation of the secondary and tertiary curricula, both formal and informal, to include a range of academic and non-academic subjects essential to national development. Also, the Roosevelt Skerritt government acknowledges that exposing youth to entrepreneurship will make for indispensable enterprising employees. With the adoption of that plan, the youthful leader sees sustained expansion of the national economy. Before we leave, a few announcements from the Roseau City Council. They wish to remind property owners in default of land and house rates that they are kindly requested to visit the office of the Roseau City Council to settle outstanding amounts. Failure to comply with this notice will result in publication of names in the newspapers and court action. Now for a recap of the weekend's headline stories with Kimani Saint-Jean.
Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. In the headlines this week, the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Republic of Ecuador officially established bilateral relations on August 14th. The agreements were signed by Honorable Reginald Austri, Minister for Lands, Housing, Settlements and Water Resource Management, who represented Dominica's Prime Minister, and Ecuador's Foreign Minister Ricardo Patiño. The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development has recorded an improvement in performance at the 2014 CXC-CSEC exams. The overall pass rate grew by 1.5% compared to 2013. Also this week, 9 more nationals received the opportunity to further studies in China in various disciplines, ranging from electrical and civil engineering to information technology. Admission notices were presented to these individuals on August 15th at an awards ceremony convened at the Chinese Embassy. Construction works continues on the Newtown Primary School as the team looks to complete the project by 2015. The contract for the $6 million state-of-the-art school was signed in October 2013, and the project is expected to be complete in 18 months. Also this week, the Honorable Prime Minister and Finance Minister Roosevelt Skerrit delivered on promises for the rehabilitation of the Rosalie Grand Fond Link Road. On Wednesday, government officials signed an agreement with Grand Fond resident and contractor Paul John Hope to rehabilitate the road, which is anticipated to be complete before year-end 2014. The Dominica Education Enhancement Project is seeing positive results in the education sector. The $11 million project, which started 4 years ago, has transformed the education sector since its inception in 2010. Also this week, the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, or NTRC, has contributed to information technology in the communities of Kingshill and Bath Estate by tapping into a special fund designed to enhance ICT knowledge. Christina Bethel of La Plaine was the first recipient of a $1,000 secondary school scholarship from a group of concerned Dominicans, both local and in the diaspora. These were the headlines that formed the news this week. It's back to you, Nisha.
Thanks, Kimani. And that's the English news. McPherson St.Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St.Luce. Premièrement, membre parlement provincial Sud, Honorable Ambrose George, bien plaisir pour donation ordinateur que NTRC fait présentation par GNS Lacoudoué. Honorable George fait parole cela pendant officier compagnie là, te fait présentation ces ordinateurs là par comité développement Lacoudoué jeudi.
On promet, mon fait la motika parler avec ces jeunes monde là, nous joindre avec eux à Bath State, dans ces jours, avec mon dit mon fait une manière pour taper computer ba yo, pour mettre un resource center pour yo servir. Avec nous ka ça venir fait. Avec mon question que ces jeunes monde là, avec tous ces monde à Bath State, bien plaisir, bien plaisir pour eux pour recevoir ces computers avec printer qui mener en ligne avec internet, avec information community communications technology, avec yo que Nisha pour one service pour quoi yo.
Honorable George Kakui à CGNS community là pour établir un ICT club pour développement ailleurs.
C'est un challenge mon bail des mois qui passent pour établir un club pour mener quoi ensemble pour enregistrer club là avec yo ça là yo joindre yo ça parler contre comment yo ça servir l'esprit yo creativity yo innovation yo pour faire application pour ça yo ça fait à ce computer parce que nous avons vu que là où regarde internationally les jeunes monde qui ti jeunes monde yo ka servi creativity yo avec innovation pour faire application avec yo ka vendre ça pour business monde dans business avec qui fait qui nous sani yon de trois jeunes monde out Bath State qui ça fait ça aussi avec ça c'est une météo en manière qui yo ça taper en payer pour service yo avec ça mène yo en pli côté international parce que nous ni confiance là dans monde nous en Dominique especially spécialement jeunes monde. C'est students là qui a collège là qui a fait computer science, mais nous voulons aller beyond ça. Nous voulons servir l'esprit pour voir comment yo ça servir computer pour mener braille neuf avant avec pour ça yo ça mener pour service internationally.
En d'autres nouvelles, le gouvernement Dominique dépensé $60,000 pour faciliter l'occasion d'éducation des enfants en Saint-Joe. Parole celle-là sortie du membre parlement, Honorable Kelvin Darrow.
Preschool Salas en Saint-Joe et locate à Caleb John Laurent Primary School. Et puis, le gouvernement nous en need pour investir dans preschool Salas. Plus les enfants, petits enfants, et puis ils passent à Western Caillou. So nous faisons investment ça pour ces enfants là aller à l'école. Et bien ça nous a aussi payer salaire pour les teachers là. Et bien ça c'est ce qu'a fait envers National Employment Program. Plus nous savons en communauté, en nation qui ni éducation en front là, ici en éducation qui développe. Et bien ça c'est un investissement que le gouvernement a fait pour ces enfants-là en communauté Saint-Joseph.
En la nouvelle, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, signé 5 contrats pour bâtir travail infrastructure tout le pays avant les plus de $4 millions. Travail qui couvrait Dallas, Mount Bruce, La Pointe et puis Guantas. Ministre Public Works a awardé un contrat pour James Saintville pour bâtir un pont White River en Dallas. Nelson Joseph tapé un contrat pour travailler chez Mount Bruce pour la compagnie offshore qui travaille à sa réhabilitation l'occasion en Champagne. Travail qui aussi prend place en Guantas ou la Deepcon Engineering qui pavé chez Lagon pour Purple Turtle. Public Works Corporation aussi tapé contrat pour paver la Rehab et puis Rodney Street en Guantas. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt a annoncé en l'adresse budget qui travaille réhabilitation, qui tapé attention en Guantas, réhabilitation infrastructure, ville Guantas, qui a expecté pour avancer investissement et puis développement en ville Salah. Finalement, le département quarantine qui servait un draft plan, yo établi pour travail et puis habitat figue et puis banane. Parole Salah sur le chef département Salah, M. Ryan Ansem.
Nous ni ça quoi un draft strategic plan pour banane avec planter avec ciment cavini nous allons mener toutes ces stakeholders l'ensemble regarder c'est nous ça travailler avec draft ça là pour développer.
Messieurs et mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins c'est McPherson St.Luce. Et un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Tips towards thinking positive coming up next.
An unwelcomed visitor has entered our island and is seeking to cause havoc. The giant African snail may move slowly, but it rapidly destroys all in its path. Left unchecked, it can devastate our agriculture. Our farming community is at risk. In large numbers, they are unsightly. Because they may also carry a disease which affects humans, our tourism industry is threatened. If this snail is allowed to become established in our land, the consequences are frightening. We all have a part to play to make our land free from this pest. Crush the giant African snail now.
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
You had probably heard a thing or two about the benefits of positive thinking. Positive thinkers have better stress coping skills, stronger immunity, and a lower risk of cardiovascular disease. So what can you do to become a more positive thinker? For one, avoid negative self-talk. Try humor. It can be really difficult to stay positive when there is little humor or lightness in your life. Even when you are facing challenges, it is important to stay open to laughter and humor and keep working on it. Like any goal, the key is to stick with it for the long term. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS YouTube Dominica channel. On behalf of the GIS News production team, I am Nisha Charles. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.